homework was to add a new field to every note that keeps track of when it was last updated. So in main.js, inside save note, we're already creating a new timestamp and saving it as the ID. Now we can just do that and save it to a new field called updated at as well. And we just won't check to see if there's no ID first. We'll just do that on all of them. So I'll do this. I'll put a new variable at the top. Const timestamp equals new date.now. I'll say note.id equals timestamp instead of that, just so we don't run date.now twice. But then whether it's a new note or not, I'll set note.updated at to timestamp. So I'll have it every single time. That's it. That does the thing. We just set updated at every time. So we have blank note, so we should probably go ahead and, where's blank note? Blank note is in note form now. Title, body, let's go ahead and put updated at in here. Not going to be anything, but we'll go ahead and put a field in there. Suppose we could put, I don't know, put 0 in there or something if you want. By the way, I think maybe in this case, did we take blank note out of here? We did not. We didn't take blank note out of main, but it's not being used there anymore. We moved it to note form. So since I forgot to do that in this class, I'll take it out now. So let's see if this works. If I just do anything at all to these, heck, let's just get rid of our notes. How many do I have? I don't have that many, do I? I have maybe more than I thought. Not that many. Let's just start over. Clean slate. Notes. Now, timestamps. This is newer than that one. Newer still. Let's look at our database. Updated at. Notice updated at is not the same as created at, right? The only way that would be the case is if you only ever typed one letter in the whole thing. Cool. But we wanted to sort too, didn't we? So let's try doing that thing. So note list is where we actually show them in order. So let's have a look at note list.js. So here's our array, notes. In JavaScript, there is a function called array sort. JavaScript array sort. Let's look at it on MDN. Sorts the elements of an array in place and returns the array. So how's that work? arr.sort, and then you can pass in an optional argument that is a compare function. Specifies a function that defines the sort order. If omitted, it's sorted according to each character's Unicode code point value, according to the string conversion of each element. So it'll convert it to a string and compare those if you don't do anything else. We can't sort a note object that way. Convert it to a string, they're all object. So that's not what we're going to do. So we're going to have to pass in a callback that tells it how to sort them. Okay. Maybe we don't know how to do that yet, but we should be able to do something like const, what should we call it? Sort notes equals arrow function. Does it tell me any more about the compare function? Yeah.
So why are we doing this in node list? Can you just do it in save node? And that would be much easier, right? If you do it in save node. Because I tried doing it in save node and it works.
Yeah, but it doesn't work if you refresh the page. They're not going to be sorted anymore, right? It works as you add a new one, but it will not work when you refresh the page. When you refresh the page? How would sorting them in save note work after you refresh the page? Because you don't even call save note yet.
No, because I'm doing it in save node, right? So before it's, I mean, like while the function. So if, I mean, when you type each node, it gets saved, right? I mean, when you type each letter, it gets saved.
Oh, because it's an array. Yeah, we haven't done this in previous years. Yeah, that's true. In previous years, we've always saved the notes as an object, not as an array. Now that it's an array, that's true. They're saved in order, aren't they? So yes, you're right. That would totally work. That would totally work. That's a lot easier, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. Yeah. So the hard way. Yeah, it's an array now. This is way easier. Never mind. So what did you do in save note? Yeah, way easier. Like instead of pushing it, just.
So when we set nodes, set I equals nodes, right? So right after the, I mean, else in the closing bracket, when I just did nodes equals node, I mean nodes dot sort, function a comma b, and then return b dot updated at minus b.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you did it where? Right after the else? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So right after the else, just do it there. Either way, we still need to use sort notes. So let's see. Notes dot sort. So anyway, you pass it a function that will get.
But then shouldn't that equal nodes equals nodes dot sort? Because it needs to update that.
Right. Right. Yeah, this will just return the thing. But didn't it say in place? Sorts the elements of an array in place. So what that means is it'll actually overwrite the original array as it does it. It sounds like. So the way that the callback works is it'll get past two things, and it will call this basically on every pair of items, and you give it some sort of comparison function that will return either a negative number, 0, or a positive number. If it returns 0, it assumes those two things are equal. And then it uses the negative or positive to figure out which one should come first in the array. So you did a dot up. Say it again. Yeah. So b dot updated at minus a dot updated at. Sorry. Return that. So if we did it the other way around, that would put them in order. But we don't want oldest first. We want newest first. So we subtract the other way around. Let's see if this does it just like this. So since we're doing it in save now, we need to at least create a new note first. So this is a note. So is this. Notice it's at the top now. So it's putting new ones at the top. But if I go back and edit one of these others, if we edit one of the older ones, now it shoots to the top. So So this happens to be exactly how Evernote works because they ripped us off. So most recently updated at the top. Go back and edit this one. It shoots to the top. Refresh the page, and because we're actually saving it in Firebase as an array, they will remain in order. So yeah, this is probably the easiest place to do it. Now, if this were a brand new feature that we were adding, like it wouldn't sort them until we added the first new note, if we had an existing database and only now decided to sort them. So if this were an entirely presentational thing, it might not be entirely safe to do it here, but
It still works because when I tried it, I mean the updated app was null, right? For some of the things, but like
as long as you add one new as long as you edit one new note, as long as you edit a note, as long as you type a character somewhere, when you first load the page, they would not be in order if there were existing notes. But as soon as you type any letter into any note, they'll all get sorted. Yeah. So it would quickly fix itself. So yeah, that's pretty simple. So if it isn't clear how the sort thing works, let's do a very quick example. So let's get an array of things here. Const numbers. And we'll make this an array of objects. Yeah. And the objects all have a field called age. Maybe I shouldn't be putting these in order right off the bat. So if I say ages.sort, my arrow function here will receive two arguments. I want to compare them. If I just say a minus b, console log ages, yeah, come on, you.
isn't it A.A?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this is what's it doing? It's converting each one to a string and comparing the strings. All the strings are object, so it's just keeping it in the order they were in. So a.age, we'll compare those numbers to each other, and we'll get them in the order 19, 20, 23, 38. If I did b minus a, that'll get us 38, 23, 20, 19. So again, it's based on whether your callback returns a negative number, 0, or a positive number. So a negative number, if I do 19 minus 18, I'm going to get a negative number. So it's going to know that it's going to know which one's bigger based on that, whether it was A or B that is bigger. Yeah. So that's the trick. So this is, you really only need a callback function if they're not, if you're doing something other than kind of what the sensible default is for a string or a number or something, or if they're inside an object or something. If they're just numbers, if they're not inside an object, it's just like 5, 2, 9, 7. You can just call sort, and it'll go 2, 5, 7, 9. Because it can figure that out. It'll just subtract the two things from each other. So if you wanted to do a reverse order, or if they were stored on objects or something like that, or if it were an array of arrays or something like that. Yeah. So nothing too earth-shattering. So sort notes by last update. Newest first.